In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the upper control arms on this Ram 1500. Let's get into it. Now we're going to remove the wheel. I'm going to use a 22mm socket, take the lug nuts off. Remove the wheel. We're going to remove this nut. Use a 21mm socket. Look at that, so it's just barely finger tight. Just get a couple threads on, that's good. I'm going to use a pickle fork and separate the ball joint. There is other front end tools you could use. You're just trying to separate the ball joint from the knuckle. There we go. Use a pry bar, pry this down, and take the nut the rest of the way off. And slide that out. Just push the knuckle to the side. Just make sure there's no tension on the brake hose. If you need to, you can use some wire ties or even a bungee cord just to hold this up. I'll just use a bungee cord. Just hold that out of the way. Using a trim tool, just pop this off. I'm using a 19mm socket. Just pull the fender, the inner fender well out of the way. You can pull it out if you want, but you don't have to. Loosen this up. There is a nut on the other side, and it does have a bracket around it, but it's a good idea to put a wrench on that. So using a 21mm wrench on the nut side, just to prevent that from spinning. And take this bolt out. There we go. That's the nut. See, it has this bracket on it. Pull the bolt out. Now we're going to take the front bolt out, same way, 19mm socket, 21mm wrench on the inside. Start by loosening the bolt. And there's a ground wire right here. You can just work around that. It's a little tricky to get the wrench on this side. You can use the open end side. Do it that way. And the control arm's going to drop. Slide that off. Slide the bolt out. Grab the upper arm and slides right out. Slide the new control arm in position. Take the bolts, get those started. Take the nuts. We'll tighten these down. Before we snug these down, you want to have the arm up a little bit. It would be ideal to have this all together and then torque these while the vehicle's on the ground, but sometimes that's not that easy. So just raise it up to where ride height should be. Right about there. Tighten this one down. Now we're going to torque these bolts to 130 foot-pounds. Take the bungee cord off. Slide the upper ball joint into the knuckle. Push this down, get the nut started. Just using a pry bar, pry down the upper control arm. Using a 22mm socket, we'll tighten the nut. Torque this to 40 foot-pounds. Then you want to use a torque angle meter and go an additional 200 degrees. If you don't have one, do the best you can. Go. Then take the push pin for the ABS wire and slide that in place and install the wheel. Put the lug nuts on. And tighten those down. Now we're going to torque the lug nuts to 130 foot-pounds in a cross pattern to tighten the wheel down evenly. Go around again, double check. After finishing this installation, it's important to have an alignment done on your vehicle.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.